What is up, fam? Welcome to the start of week 2 of February. Here are five stocks that I recommend going into this week. Number one, we have Carvana. Carvana is an online car dealer that operates in retail and wholesale segments. They have an outstanding average selling price per car and an outstanding margin, almost higher than some of the computer hardware server businesses out there. Carvana was affected by a short report for a short period of time in the middle of December. The short seller Hindenburg ended up closing his shop afterwards, and JPM came to their rescue. So really didn't do anything to the stock. In terms of tailwinds, there's many. We've got the Trump tariffs that directly impact the auto industry, but do not impact the second-hand auto industry, which is the used car segment, which is the one that Carvana dominates in. The retail buying trends for Carvana are really strong. Used cars are really, really strong. APR rates at an all-time low, and inventory is in a crunch. I expect strong earnings in about a couple of weeks, but even to that point, I think Carvana's stock is going to perform really well. In spot number two, we have Uber. Uber is coming off a really strong earnings report, great booking, great revenue, and great bottom line momentum. There's a little bit of an FX headwind for many of these companies that have an international business, and Uber is not a stranger to that either. Um, Uber is actually inversely correlated to Tesla. I don't know if many people have noticed that yet, but over the 90 days, there is a negative 0.91 correlation to Tesla stock. And that's because both of them compete in the autonomous category. Now, Tesla's lagging sales in China and lagging sales in Europe are actually a leading indicator for and a tailwind for Uber stock. So that's my recommendation for stock number two. Perishing Square, which is led by Bill Ackman, just disclosed a really huge stake in Uber as well. So that momentum is only going to build higher. In spot number three, we have MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy actually started off as a BI platform, but that part of the business has been decelerating. They took on board buying Bitcoin and amassing that as a store of value, and it's worked wonders for their stock price. Michael Saylor has expressed an even aggressive intent in buying Bitcoin, and they essentially go to the street and borrow money and buy Bitcoin. Now, a lot of people use MicroStrategy as an entry point into Bitcoin because their stock price, understandably so, is heavily correlated with the price of Bitcoin. There's also an accounting change that's occurred recently that lets companies like MicroStrategy disclose the unrealized gain in Bitcoin, whereas in the past you couldn't do that. The other thing that's happening for MicroStrategy is that the stock is a little bit of a volatility low, which provides an entry point into Bitcoin. So if you believe in the Bitcoin story, you believe in MicroStrategy. For Bitcoin especially, I think Bitcoin is a little bit of a bearish pattern short term, but after the CPI report comes out next week, I believe it could form a cup and handle formation. In spot number four, we have STRK. STRK is actually a preferred stock that is floated by MicroStrategy. It provides a 9% yield. There are a lot of clauses there in this particular preferred stock. So definitely read up on those before you put money into it. But that could be a possible fixed income play that's pegged to Bitcoin. And in spot number five, we have Affirm. Affirm's just coming off of strong earnings again. Affirm has absolutely kicking ass on every single metric out there, operational and financial. And the future for BNPL is really, really strong. A big tailwind for me is Trump. Trump has been a good guy for small caps and a good guy for financial regulation or deregulation. He's also recently let go of the CFPB director, Rohit Kapoor, who is infamous in levying a lot of fees against banks. Scott Bessent is the current active director, and that's a little bit of an indirect tailwind for me for Affirm. Affirm is a great buy point. I know that the stock's actually broken out, and breakouts usually aren't the area to play in. But this stock is going to make you money over the long term. So that's my fifth recommendation. And have a great trading week.